guys, it's Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Today I'm going to be playing with some of the summer collection from Scrappy Tails. You guys probably saw that video I did last month using these fun products, and I will leave a link to that up in the cards for you guys. But today I'm not sure what I'm going to make. I really don't. And you guys know that's kind of my jam. So I'm going to just start doing... I do want to use these. This looks pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and die cut those out and see where it goes from there. Okay, so now that I've got everything cut out, I think I did cut everything out in this little bottle shipping. It's a message in a bottle, I think is the name of it. I will look that up and get that to you guys in the description, so you'll see the name of everything down in the description. Anyway, now I'm going to start coloring up some of these, and I'll make sure to show you which dyes do what, because as I'm cutting things out, and you'll probably find this is true for you too, as you're cutting things out, it's like, what's that for? And then it dawns on you after you see it actually cut out. Sometimes when you're looking at the dyes, it's a little bit harder, and that's any dyes. Sometimes it's a little hard to see, okay, what exactly is that for? And you don't really see it until after you cut it out. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to use my new from Picket Fence, these paper pouncers to color up my images. I figure this is going to be a bit faster than trying to color them with ink blending. And starting off with Simon Hurley's, oh, this is not actually the color I was wanting, but that's okay. This one is the Slippery When Wet, which is a bright yellow. What I was wanting, I'll probably be using Weeping Willow, but that one's a little darker. But what I was really wanting, and where did I put it? Here we go, is Cookie Dough, because that is a really soft light brown, right? So let me go ahead and add that over the Slippery When Wet. And then I can use the Weeping Willow if I want to add any additional dimension to it. And this is the die that cuts that piece out. So I think I'm going to go through each of them because I did cut everything out at least once. So I figured this looks kind of like sand. So I think that'll be good. I'll do a little bit, I think, with the Weeping Willow down here at the bottom, and then come back in with more of, so now it looks like wet sand. More of the Cookie Dough. So I'm going to say that that is probably good enough. One thing I am noticing, especially if you do these a little hard, which is what I just did and probably should not have done, is that they will, you can get a little circle. You can see that? A little circle there. So let me grab out a brush. I'm going to just blend it out a little bit. I figure all of these things are kind of good for combinations. You could use all of your different tools for different purposes at different times, and that will work perfect. Okay, so the sand is going to look kind of wet, so that's a little bit dark. For my message here, I do want to do that one in my Simon Hurley Cookie Dough. But first, let's clean this off a little bit. Okay, let's grab up some of those, and this one I kind of want the whole thing to be about the same. It will be a little bit darker in some areas just because of the dimension on the die cut itself. And so this is going to look kind of like old paper. And it's kind of got a little bit of an ombre effect going on because I did more ink down at the bottom than I did at the top. There's also this little piece. So we've got the die for our paper, and then we've got this little piece. I'm like, what in the world is that for? That's actually for the little roll part where the paper is rolled up. So let's go ahead and color that one too. And I'm going to do a little bit darker on it so that it will, you know, you can kind of see it better. And as I go along, I'm going to go ahead and start adhering these pieces together. So there's our little message. Okay, so for my bottle here, I'm going to do the back part dark blue, and then I'm going to layer it up with some of the Remember Me, which is a lighter blue. Okay, so we've got a couple of pieces for our bottle. So we've got the bottle shape, and then we've got this one that's got all the fun waves. So I've cut both of those out. I'm going to do two different colors of blue, starting off with Catherine Pooler's Suede Shoes. I'm going to do this one as a dark blue in the background. And I'm going to use Simon Hurley's Remember Me for this piece. And now we can glue those together. I think that looks pretty cool. You can see all of the texture and everything because we used two die cuts there, although the colors are very similar. And since we use the pouncer, it has a little bit of texture there as well. I think that turned out really, really cool. I'm going to put my my message down first because I want it to kind of be stuck in the sand. So we're going to go about like that. That's why I had to decide which direction is my bottle going to go, so I know which way to have my message go, because I kind of want it to be kind of peeking up to the top. I do have a few corks here. So there's another die that is for our cork. That's this guy here. And I cut out 3 layers because I wanted a little bit of dimension there as well. And I have not colored any of those up yet. So let's do the same thing we did before and go in with some of that cookie dough. Okay. And I think I'm going to go in with a little bit, not much, but a little bit of the Weeping Willow. Just to bring out some of the texture on that die. And next we're going to just glue the 3 layers together. Like I said, I did do a couple extras to make the cork look a little bit thicker. Okay, there's a bunch more little pieces, lots of tiny little pieces that I wasn't sure what some of them were for until I started cutting them out. First one, of course, I do know what this one is. This is our ship. I have an idea where I think I want to put it on the card, but I need it to be a lot darker than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some black ink on this guy. And actually, I think I'm going to go with a dark gray. So we've got Hoodie and Pebble, and I'm looking for my third one. Also got Shady. I haven't used Shady yet from Simon Hurley, so let's go ahead and try that one out. Let's take a look and see what it's going to look like, and then I think will work great. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and color my little ship as dark gray. Okay, so it's almost black there. And then there's this little piece that I'm like, what in the world is that for? It turns out that this is an accent to go on our ship. So let's add that one in a lighter gray. Let's go with Hoodie. And it actually turned out almost as dark. That's okay. It's still, maybe if I put on, I know what I'll do. I'll actually add another color to it to make it, number one, a little bit brighter, maybe, and add a different tone to it. So it looks like it's painted, but it's just far away. So I'm adding a little bit of Remember Me. So now this is going to be kind of a blue-gray. I think that's going to look kind of cool. So I would say just use your imagination when you're doing this, guys. Okay, that is going to be perfect. Love it, love it. Next, I'm going to go and do the sails. There are 2 different dies for the sails. We've got these 2 here. So I've got a bunch of little sail shapes. And since we went with that blue for that part of the ship, let's do the same thing for the sails. And I'll go ahead and glue those down as well. Okay, so what we have left now, and here's another piece that I wasn't sure. We've got these little bitty ones. We've got a little anchor, which I understand what the anchor is, but these I wasn't sure until I cut them out and realized those are the little flags. Okay, and doing a rocking motion, did not know that until just now, but that helps it so that the pieces don't really pop off like they were already doing. So let's go ahead and add our little flags down. And isn't that just the cutest thing? So that's part of the dies that we've got in here. What's left are a couple different things. We've got this piece here, which is a circle with our anchor in the middle. Okay. And we've got another anchor, and then we've got this piece, which is a piece of rope. So I do know where that goes, which is awesome. So our rope is basically going to go attached to our bottle, and then this little piece here is like a little wax seal that's down at the bottom. So I'm going to do, since I'm going very heavily into the blue theme, I'm going to do the Remember Me, the teal color for the wax seal. Okay. And then we need to color up our rope. And for that, we'll use one of the browns that we just used. And I think I am going to start again with the cookie dough. Just using what's left on here first. It's kind of looking a little bit yellow. That's okay. Add a little bit of the Weeping Willow with a brush. And that should bring out a little bit more of the rope texture. Okay, I think that is pretty good. So I decided I'm going to do something a little bit different than what my normal is. I'm going to make a Z-fold card. So to make a Z-fold card, basically you take a A2 size card base. This is one that is a top folding, if you will. So it's an 8.5 by, it's a, I'm sorry, 11 by 4.25 inch piece of cardstock that you score in the middle at 5.5, and then you score one end or the other at half that, which is 2 3/4, and then it folds up and makes a little Z. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. And I had a couple of ideas for this card. So I want my message in the bottle to be on the front, and then my little boat, I'm going to have it kind of off in the background. So that means I need to make this look like an ocean scene. So I'm just using a pencil to give me a little bit of a basic idea. I don't really do drawing that much, guys, but so this is kind of a first. So I'm kind of just putting down a line, okay? And might as well go all the way across. And it's not going to be straight, and I'm definitely going to make it not straight going forward anyway. And then I'm going to just start decorating this piece, my card, before I start putting things on there. So I think what I'm going to do for this part, since I've been using inks for this, I think that's probably a good bet to go with. First, let's draw some waves. And I'm going to have it a little bit darker than what I just had, right? And I can erase whatever I don't use. And I'm just doing a kind of back and forth, just a wavy line. And it actually came up, lined up right about right. Okay, so I'm going to erase the extra. And this is kind of just to give me an idea of where I want that to go. And now I think I'm going to start off. Let's start off with the top. We'll start off with a lighter color first. And I'm going to get rid of most of this. I just need enough of a guide to let me know where everything is, right? Okay. So I'm going to grab out my It's a Boy. And that teal color because it's lighter. And let's see if I can get some of it off of my brush onto the lower end, because you know it doesn't really matter. I want to make sure that I get most of it off, and this part's going to be darker. Okay, so I'm going to go in with some It's a Boy and just do some light pouncing. Just playing and experimenting, guys, so this is not necessarily the right way to do this, but this is the way I'm doing it, and I think it's going to be fun. It'll turn out pretty cute. Okay, so you can see that little wave there, and because it is reactive ink, I think I'm going to do a little bit of water splatter on this one too. I think that actually that looks kind of like sea spray, so that is kind of cool. See what it looks like with my bottle. It's almost too much blue, but I think that is really cool. I'm going to add, I think I'm going to come in with some black soot and darken the bottom of the ocean up just a little bit. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to come in with some Shady. And I'm just going to test this out to make sure it looks like what I think it's going to look like. To say that having that previous water splatter that wasn't quite dry yet is definitely giving this kind of an interesting texture. I'm liking it. I am liking the way that that is looking for this. Okay, added a little more of the water splatter, and this time I'm just going to dry it straight instead of blotting it off. But I am loving it. So next I want to put down a couple of extra stamps. I want to put down a sentiment, and I think I'm going to add some of these little birds that are from this other set of Sabrina's. Again, I will put that down in the description. So it's got this little set of all these cute little birds. There's a bunch of seagulls, and I'm also going to put this sentiment in high tide or low tide, I'll always be by your side. So I'm putting everything into my Misty to get an idea of where I want to do the stamping. Okay, and I think my sentiment should go down here in the corner. And then I'm going to put these little seagulls up in the sky over here too. So go ahead and get those put in place. I am going to use, this is going to be kind of weird. We're going to see how it works. I'm going to use my VersaFine Clair because I know it stamps really, really well. But then I'm going to go over it with white embossing powder. So we're going to test it. I have no idea if this is going to work. I'm also going to use anti-static powder down here. And I think I think this is dry enough so that this should work, but I am putting quite a bit of the powder. Now, if there is a little bit of speckles or anything of the... Actually, I can go ahead and stamp both of them down in black because, yeah, my birds are going to be black up in the sky. Anyway, I'm just going to use clear embossing powder on them. This is an experiment, guys. Like so much of what I do, right? Okay, so the stamping looks good. But first, I'm going to go over this down here at the bottom with my white. And it looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and heat that up. Actually, while I'm at it, I don't want any, I don't want the ink to dry for my birds. So I'm moving this one away and bringing in another coffee filter so I could do the clear over my birds. And we'll go ahead and heat everything up at once. And hopefully this will work. First time I've tried doing this. And while I'm looking at it, I'm pretty sure that this down here is white embossing powder, not anti-static powder. So, okay, I'm going to just say that that is going to be good enough. Okay, so I'm going to say that that looks pretty good. It's not 100% perfect, but that I think is fine. I do need to brush off the extra powder, so we'll go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and put my little boat on flat. So I'm using my reverse tweezers just to hold the bottle part onto the card so I know where I'm placing my boat. So the boat's going to go back up over here. And then this is where my bottle's going to sit. And yeah, I think I am going to put it there with just a liquid adhesive. I was thinking about popping it up, but that might give a little bit too much, make too much going on. So let's go ahead and just adhere this down flat. And I've got my tweezers where I want it to be so I don't put any adhesive on the wrong side. There we go. And then you could write on the inside with like a white gel pen here in the center somewhere. But I think that that is going to look really, really, really cool. Now, one thing I don't like is the back. So I'm going to adhere down another piece of cardstock, just another plain panel on the back to cover that up because I did get a lot of the ink come through. And this also gives another place that if you wanted to, you could always write a message on the back too. I tend to have that place clean except for where I sign it saying that I made the card. I'm lining it up on two sides, and then if my card panel is a little bit big, I can just trim it off with my paper trimmer. And there we go. That card is all finished. So that's going to finish up this video for Scrappy Tails Crafts. You guys have a wonderful day. Be sure to check out this playlist to see some more videos where I'm using Scrappy Tails products, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.